So you just curious about the backup exact infrastructures or the architectures. So in your environment, you got to have at least one backup access server. So you have your virtual environments to be backed up. You have your physical or application servers to be backed up. You have all your various type of storage and media. Okay. If you want to provide application-aware backup, you got to install agents on these different servers. If you are running an Exchange mailbox and you want to be able to recover individual item, individual mailbox, or individual calendar entry, you're going to have agents for Exchange installed. If the default features of BE is not sufficient for the environment, you can go and purchase additional options. We have a lot, various options for you to purchase. We have the shared storage options, the library expansion options, the digitization options, stuff like that for you to add on to the BE default feature set. So how do we actually protect a virtual environment with only 3 clicks or 3 simple steps? Okay. Backup exact, you have your physical, a normal physical server. You have your virtual, you have your ESX server. Within your ESX, it's got multiple VM installed. So for this physical box, you perform a one-off backup, a single pass backup, and then you are able to perform any type of recovery in those backups. The same applies to this virtual environment. You perform a single pass backup. And then you can choose to restore this VM. You can choose to restore a folder or a file within this VM, or you can choose to restore a single Exchange mail item inside this virtualized environment, or with only a single pass backup. There's no multiple steps of backup to be done, only one single set. So what we do with our virtualization backup, we support Hyper-V and we support VMware. With our V-Way technologies, V-Way, you're going to hear about V-Way a lot and a lot more in the near futures. V-Way is basically a semantic marketing terms for these few key technologies. The first one is the stream handlers. Okay, by default, we have a virtual image with a fixed size of 128K, 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 and there, the end result of that is when we backing up a VMDK file with a fixed block of data, any slight changes is going to impact the digit ratios, the 1.5, 1.2, 1.3, the digitification ratios. Block optimizations. When you look into a single block of data, the empty space won't be backed up. Only the data part will be backed up in a virtualized environment. And also, with the change block control, we allow incremental and differential backup for both Hyper-V and VMware environments. Remember, in your virtualized environment, there are 2 types of backup. The one requires agents being installed in the VM. We call it an agent-based backup. So if you have Exchange AD SQL sitting in an ESX, for example, you have AD agents, Exchange agent, and SQL agents in each individual VM. Okay? So with all these agents, we are able to perform GRT recovery. GRT will mean granular recovery technologies. So you back up the whole thing, you can restore the individual items. Okay? For example, if you back up the whole Active Directories, you can choose to restore your AD objects or even the attribute of the AD objects by using all these agent-based backup. If you choose to go for agentless virtualized backup, what you have to do is to install agents for VMware and Hyper-V. That's it. You do not need any applications agents installed inside the VM. You perform a single pass of backup. And then if you want, you can restore the whole VM, the VHD. You can restore a folder, a file inside that VM. But you cannot perform GRT recovery in this case. So I have a virtualized environment with AD Exchange SQL. I perform a single backup, single path backup to my backup assets. If I have all these agents installed inside the VM, I will be able to perform a restore of individual mailbox, emails, public folders, or whatever, or calendar entries from Exchange. Without installing that Exchange agent, you won't have that experience. You will not have this GRT experience. By default, GRT is enabled for all Microsoft applications. And with Backup Exec 2012, we also enable GRT for SharePoint, Microsoft SharePoint. So in the past, we only support Exchange AD and SQL, and now we support SharePoint as well for GRT, granular recovery technologies. So how do you actually back up a VMware service? You just go into your Backup and Restore tab. You click on that Add button or Add VM server, VMware servers. And then you have to type in the credential of your ESX box. And then you go and choose which virtual machine that you want to back up. Do you want to back up this? Yes. And then after that, it is basically like backing up a physical machine. So you do not have to make any selection here. By default, everything will be selected for you under that virtualized host. And then you will be presented with a full backup followed by incremental backup. Default setting. If you don't like, you can always go into edit and then make changes later. So if you click on the edit button here, you'll be able to go into your virtual machine and select the applications or folders that you want to back up. By default, everything has been selected for you. So this is new for Hyper-V. In the past, we support stream handler for VMware. And now we also support stream handlers for Hyper-V as well. So we no longer look into a VHD as a fixed 128K block of data. We use a variable size of block of data. It could be 32K, it could be 64K, depending on the actual file size boundary. So we talked about P2V and B2V in the previous sections. So we also provide a VMware plugin for your vCenter. So without using your Backup Exec console, you can install the Backup Access plugin into your vCenter management console. So inside this user experience, you're able to see all service status